That tree behind you right now, whatever it is costing you nothing and giving you nothing. But there's a claim that has circulated for decades among rural communities and alternative energy discussions that a single tree, properly used, can significantly reduce or even replace certain fuel costs over time. And the reason you've probably never heard this story explained like this is not as simple as you think. Before I explain further, I need you to do one thing. Subscribe to Golden Roots Living right now, because what you're about to hear challenges everything you've been told about energy, farming, and independence. Now, listen closely. Some people who have worked closely with off-grid systems claim that when they first visited certain traditional farms, what surprised them wasn't advanced technology, but the absence of fuel systems they expected to see. Instead of large tanks or constant deliveries, they saw small-scale, self-sustaining methods, often involving plants and natural oil sources being used in experimental or limited applications. One of the most talked about plants in this conversation is Moringa oleifera. Now, let's be clear, this is not magic fuel, and it is not a mainstream energy replacement. But Moringa is often described in agricultural and nutritional research as an extremely versatile tree with multiple uses that go far beyond what most people realize. Before you continue, comment this: I've heard of Moringa, or this is new to me.
I want to see how familiar people already are with this. Now here's where it gets interesting. Moringa is widely studied for its nutritional value, fast growth, and ability to thrive in harsh conditions. In some discussions around sustainable agriculture, it is also mentioned for its seed oil content and soil improvement benefits. Some reports and field studies, especially in parts of Africa and Asia, have explored its use in water purification and small-scale rural applications, particularly in areas where access to clean infrastructure is limited. But what often gets exaggerated online is the idea that it is a full replacement for modern fuel systems. That claim is far more complex and not universally supported. Still, the real conversation here is not just about one tree. It's about a bigger idea: self-sufficiency through natural systems. Because long before modern fuel economies, humans experimented with plant-based oils for lamps, engines, and machinery. Early engine developers like Rudolf Diesel even demonstrated engines running on vegetable oils in experimental settings.
However, over time, petroleum-based systems became dominant because they were more scalable, easier to distribute, and economically efficient for industrial growth. That shift is what shaped the modern fuel world we live in today. Now, here's the important part most people miss. Even if large-scale fuel replacement is not realistic for most people, the concept of reducing dependency through local resources is very real. And that's where plants like sunflower, hemp, and moringa enter the conversation again. Not as miracle fuels, but as part of broader discussions around renewable oils, sustainability, and off-grid resilience. For example, sunflower seeds contain high oil content and are used in cooking oil production. Hemp seeds are studied for industrial and nutritional oil uses. Moringa seeds are researched for both agricultural and purification applications.
These are real plants with real uses, but not replacements for entire national fuel systems. Now, let me bring this back to something practical for you. If you are someone living in a city, town, or rural area, the real takeaway is not you can quit fuel tomorrow. The real takeaway is this: there are natural systems that reduce dependency when used correctly. And understanding that changes how you see farming, energy, and even survival skills. Before we continue, if you are enjoying this kind of deep, eye-opening content, like this video and subscribe to Golden Roots Living, because we explore hidden agricultural knowledge, forgotten practices, and practical self-sufficiency ideas. Now, let's go deeper. One of the most powerful uses of moringa that is actually supported in multiple scientific discussions is its role in water treatment research. Studies have explored how crushed seeds can help reduce impurities in water by binding particles together, making filtration easier in low-resource environments.
This is not science fiction. It is part of ongoing environmental research in developing regions. But again, it is important to understand,
This does not replace full modern water treatment systems. It is a supportive, low-resource method used in specific conditions. So why is this plant always surrounded by big claims online? Because when something is versatile, fast-growing, and useful in multiple areas, nutrition, agriculture, and basic filtration, it naturally attracts a lot of interpretation, storytelling, and sometimes exaggeration. Now, here's what I want you to think about. If a single plant can contribute to food, soil health, and basic environmental support, what other forgotten plants or systems exist that most people never learned about? Drop your answer in the comments. What other natural resource do you think is underrated? I read every comment. Now, let's bring this home. The real message of this video is not that one tree will replace an entire fuel economy. The real message is that human systems have always depended on natural resources, and many of those connections have been reduced or forgotten over time. Whether through agriculture, industrialization, or modernization, we moved from local systems to centralized systems. And now, in the modern world, people are starting to revisit older ideas, not to reject progress, but to understand alternatives.
That is the real conversation. So as you watch this video, don't think in extremes. Think in awareness. Because the more you understand natural systems, the more options you have in how you live, grow food, and manage resources. Now, before you go, here's your final reminder. If you want more content like this, stories about forgotten agricultural knowledge, natural systems, and practical self-reliance, subscribe to Golden Roots Living. And here's my question for you before you leave. If you could learn one forgotten skill or natural system today, what would it be? Tell me in the comments. Because the next video will go deeper into how traditional materials and natural systems are being revisited in modern sustainability projects, and most people have no idea it's happening. Until then, stay curious and stay rooted in knowledge.